everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel Firdaus Moroccan Cuisine. Today I'm gonna be sharing with you how to make Moroccan bread that we eat with a lot of our meals. So for the ingredients, I have here 4 cups of semolina flour. I also have 4 cups of whole wheat flour, or you can use barley flour if you want. I have 1 cup of wheat bran. I have quarter cup of chia seeds. I have half cup of flax seeds. I don't grind them, but if you want to grind them, that's even better, but I like that crunchiness in the bread. And for yeast, I have 1 tablespoon, and I have 1 tablespoon of honey and half tablespoon of Himalayan salt, excuse me. So the first thing I'm gonna do is put my yeast. And I have warm water, so for the water I don't know honestly how the measurement, but I'll tell you how much it takes me at the end. So I have here 1 liter. So I will put a little bit of yeast here with some water to dilute, and then the honey. So the honey or sugar if you have sugar, if you don't have honey. And the reason for that is just it activates the yeast and it gives a little bit of golden color to the bread. So after my yeast was dissolved, I'm gonna add about half the liter of the water here, and I will add the 1 cup of wheat bran, and I will add all my flour at once. Add the flax seeds and the chia seeds, and I'm gonna put it into the mixer, and then I will see if it needs water or not. And the salt is until it's mixed and needed for about 10-15 minutes, then I'll add the salt. So after the dough was kneaded for about 5-10 minutes in the mixer, I did add the salt and a little bit of water and let it to mix again for 5 minutes. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm just gonna take it out of the mixer just to show people who don't have a mixer or they like to make the dough by their hand. I'm gonna work it out on the flat surface on the countertop. So sometimes if I don't want to use the mixer, I just mix all the ingredients by hand in a bowl, and then I work it out on the countertop. So I'm gonna show you that, or sometimes you can leave it the whole thing in the mixer until it's all kneaded very well. So when you put it on a flat surface, you just work it out like this. Or you can work it out with your fist, or like this. Because the more you knead the dough, the better and fluffy it gets from the inside. And if your hands are starting to stick, you just put a little bit of water like this, and then like this. So the key here for a successful bread is you have to really knead it very well, and then from time to time you add a little bit of water, just enough to wet your hands very well so it doesn't stick, and keep kneading. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna make it Moroccan style, like flat bread, but if you want to make loaves out of it as well, you can cut the size you want, and then based on the pans you have, like the ones you make banana bread in, and you just put whatever is enough and let it to rise, and then bake it in the oven. So now that I'm done kneading my dough, I'm gonna just take a little bit of oil and put it in this bowl so it doesn't stick when I put my dough. I'm gonna put a little bit on my hands as well. I'm gonna put it here. Put some oil on the top so it doesn't dry out, just a little bit. And I'm gonna cover it with saran wrap for about 20 minutes until it rises. Then I'm gonna... So after I let my dough rest about 10-15 minutes, so I'm gonna air it out, just like this, and you can see the texture is very fluffy. So what I do, I just put a little bit of oil in my hands and I cut the quantity I want to make buns out of it. So here I have a little bit of semolina. Yeah, you can see it. I have a little bit of semolina, so I just go like this. So you can make it the size you want. So I put it here to rest, and I'll continue. So after I finished rolling my bread, then what I do, I just take one at a time and I flatten it like this. And I put some of the semolina. You can put also all-purpose flour if you want to work with it, but I like to use semolina. So I just flatten it that it's not too thick and it's not too thin. And then I put that waxing paper underneath so they don't stick. But anyway, they won't stick because that's why I use semolina. So our bread, if you put it directly to the pan, it doesn't stick. So once you put it in the pan, you let it another 5-10 minutes because it's already ready, but you just let it to rest. Then I'll show you what I do next before I put it in the oven. So our bread is now ready. So after it rested 5 minutes, so when you press on it, it bounces back. That means it's very well, it's done. It's time to cook it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna preheat my oven for 350. So the option I use in my oven when I'm making bread or any baking items, I use convection oven. The reason for that, it just distributes the heat evenly in the oven, and then the bread cooks faster and it keeps it soft and nice, not dry. So now that our oven is preheated, what I do, I just take a fork and then cook our bread a few times. And I'm gonna put it in the oven. So I first start by putting the 2 pans at the time, and I start with the bottom. So the bread cooks there for about 5-6 minutes, maximum 8 minutes, or until you check that the bottom is cooked. It's like kind of golden color. Then you can put it on the top and then put the other pans at the bottom. So here, as you can see, I'm gonna check the bottom of the bread if it's ready, and it's good enough to be put on the top. And then I don't put broil at all. I just keep the heat on under convect bake until the whole bread is done. So when I put the other pans at the bottom, the top ones continue to cook until they're all golden color all around. Once I take out my bread, it comes out like this. So I put it on a cloth so it doesn't sweat, and then you separate them and let it cool off for about 5-10 minutes before you put them away. So usually I put them in a Ziploc and I freeze some, and I keep the ones we're gonna eat. So this is our bread, and you can see here it's fluffy and soft. So there you have it. This is how we make Moroccan bread. Of course, there are different types of bread that we make in Morocco, but this one is the most common one that we eat the tagines and the stews with. So if you want to know how to make Moroccan tagine, I already posted 2 videos in my YouTube channel, and I'm gonna leave the link to in the description box. You can go to that if you want to know how to make Moroccan tagine if you haven't watched it. Thank you again everyone for your support and for continuing to watch my videos. If you liked today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so, and we'll see you on the next video.